My name is Keeler, and when I was about 12 or 13 years old, I started dealing with depression. I didn't really know what that was at the time. I remember I was just really sad, and I was really sad for a long time, and it came to a point where I was meeting with someone at school, one of my counselors or something, and they were like, "Mark, maybe you should see someone about this, and start talking through." And that's when I realized that maybe this is a bigger issue than I understand. My family, I still don't really understand fully their reaction, because I wasn't the first person to struggle with depression in my family. Every family has their problems. My grandfather was an alcoholic, and that was something that's been a part of my family. And depression, I have aunts and uncles and people in my life that have all struggled with it. But when I was going through it, I didn't find support from them. It didn't seem like they were there for me in the ways that I needed them to be. I remember getting in fights with my parents and them being mad at me and frustrated and just wanting me to do well in school and go out and just be like a normal kid and stuff like that. I guess now that I know that's not a realistic expectation for them in their lives if they're going through a hard thing. So I guess I don't understand why it was supposed to be a realistic expectation for me to just be like everybody else when I'm dealing with this really difficult issue in my life. So when I think about my depression in sort of a timeline, there was 2 years in the beginning that I would say I was just depressed, and then there's about 3 years that I dealt with suicidal thoughts. And there was a night that I decided that I was going to take my life. And I remember being in my room and being in my bed at the time, blinds closed, totally dark, everything, the whole setting, and crying for a while, and then deciding that this is the moment, And before I decided to do it, I prayed and I said, God, if you're real, this is the time. And just after I said it, the Spirit of God came into my room, and I don't know how else to describe it. There was almost a physical presence. It seemed like God was in the room with me. There was no mistaking it. And He comforted me in that moment. And I was overwhelmed with this joy that I hadn't, I don't even know if I had experienced joy like that before, or if I had ever experienced joy until that moment, what true joy really is. And I started crying again after I'd been crying for so long. But it was tears of joy this time. I wasn't crying because I was sad. I was crying because I'd finally found, in a moment, pure relief from all the struggle, and I just fell asleep. And it was beautiful. It was incredible. I mean, looking back on it, an incredible experience. I woke up the next morning with that same sense of joy and that same sense of comfort. And I told God, if you'll do that for me, I'll serve you for the rest of my life. I will. And I said that out loud. It was a pact that I made. And my depression didn't go away. I still had the same thoughts of suicide, man, life is hard. But that was a moment that set me on a path into healing and into where I am today.